If you've ever said to yourself, I know what to do, I just don't do it, this episode is for you. We dive deep into how getting specific with your meals, not restrictive, is the real key to sustainable, natural blood sugar control and diabetes remission. Hey, welcome to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast with the two renegade pharmacists, Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks. You are listening to this because you are a person with type 2 diabetes who is committed and driven to breaking free from this diagnosis and creating a real, meaningful change in your health and life. In these episodes, we're here to help you ditch the scripts with doses of unconventional wisdom on topics such as fitness, nutrition, medication, mindset, and more. So without any further delay, let's dive right in. What's going on, Cory? How's baseball been?
Well, it's good and it's over. So are we talking about Major League Baseball? Because as a Cubs fan, it's been good. If you're talking about Little League Baseball, it's also been good. Have had a lot of fun coaching my 5 and 7 year old, and our season just wrapped up. And we didn't win the championship because they're 5 and 7 and we don't keep score. So there was no championship to be had, but we had fun.
Fun is the only championship there. As long as they have fun and come back next year for more, that's a win, in my opinion. We've got a game tonight. And really hoping that it goes well. Actually, we just really hoping we get to play it. That's the main thing.
I was gonna say, yeah, for you in Cincinnati, it's been nothing but rainouts. So uh, it's we actually had a rainout our last week of games. I've been in 4 years of coaching Little League, it was our first rainout, but that's why we play baseball in Arizona. So
Yeah, very little rain in the desert, as they say. So I do have a topic I think I want to talk about because it's really important and it's very common and people have probably heard it before, but I think it's really just worth talking about again. And it goes with food, like what do you eat when it comes to diabetes? Because this conversation comes up time and time again. What when I ask someone, what is your understanding of food? They start listing all the things that they cannot eat.
hmm
I can't eat pasta. I can't eat white bread. Some fruit maybe, but I can't eat bananas. Bananas are bad. Definitely, I can't eat sugar. And I'm like, great. Well, let's stop focusing on all the can'ts and shouldn'ts, and let's talk about what you actually can eat. Because you focus on the things that you can eat, or if your focus is all on the things you can eat, then you're just gonna fixate on those things. You're gonna want nothing more than those things. Another part of this puzzle that we really got to talk about too is like they oftentimes, well, not only do they not really focus on the cans, what they can eat, then they talk about like, well, I know what I should be eating, but I don't do it, right? So it's a two-pronged thing here. We got to figure out focus on what you can eat, and then talk about how to actually set yourself up for success, setting positive types of goals and not negative goals, and then really putting it all into practice here. So let's hear your take on this, Cory. I really want to hear this.
I mean, you can eat whatever you want. I mean, your blood sugar will be terrible, but yeah, you could eat literal straight up sugar and white bread and bananas, and your sugar will be 400. So that's probably not the outcome you want. But yeah, eat whatever you want. You just won't get the outcome that you want. But no, that is my joke. For real though, I think that um, in my experience, the way that I like to approach it with patients is like a really simplified approach. When I go through like I gave them like 3 to 4 categories of simple ways of approaching eating, and I start with what I want you eating or what the best thing for you to eat is. And when I hear also you say things like, "Oh, I ate this thing that was bad," or "I know that's a bad food," or "I shouldn't do that," I'm like, I'm not gonna label it good or bad, but there are things that are gonna help you get closer to your goals, and there's things that are gonna move you away from your goals. If it is your grandkids' high school graduation and there's some cake there and it's homemade and it's a celebratory event, like I don't think that's a bad food. But if it's a sleeve of Oreos at 11 p.m. watching Netflix, mindlessly down in that whole sleeve of Oreos, that's more bad. I would say there's a whole context to it, but yeah, I like to start with fill up on what would be the optimal foods for you, and then we talk about what we might want to stay away from, and not in like a perfect sense, but like eat less of these things, eat more of these things. Flip that though, eat more of these things, eat less of these things. And just a quick like disclaimer as far as like what you should eat, air quote, is a diet for someone with diabetes. You literally can find people who eat nothing but meat and are carnivore and do great, and you can find vegans that do great. So I don't think it's a matter of like all animal products or no animal products. I think that there's a common thread that can get you to your goal, And whatever diet camp you want to get in and fight the other side in, that's your business.
Yeah, completely agree. Well said. And I learned in my nutrition school because I am a holistic health coach here, the between the two of us.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I'm the graduate of the comedy school, and he's the holistic health coach. So listen up, folks.
So what I was taught is to crowd out. It's this principle of so eating something to crowd out the other food. So you focus more on the things that are going to be, quote, like Corey said, aligned with your goals because he's totally right. You can eat whatever you want. And that's why I talk to people about, I'm like, I'm not forcing you to eat anything. Your doctor shouldn't be forcing you to eat anything. Everything's a choice. And a lot of it is really set up by like factors. A lot of factors go into choosing the foods most aligned with your goals, which if you're listening to this show, I'm guessing it's repairing your blood sugar, getting off medications, and just getting to the root cause of diabetes. So then I'm guessing that your goal is to do what we talk about, which is eat a more nutrient dense food approach to eating and less energy so that you are then reversing the energy toxicity or poisoning that your body is currently going under and eventually reversing insulin resistance. So, uh, long story say, just a long way about of saying eat more of the foods that are aligned with your goals, and they will crowd out naturally instead of focusing on eating less of the other things.
Mhm.
And I agree with your point on the occasion matters. Really, it's kind of the whole, and again, nutrition school, primary food, secondary food. In this case, all the food we eat in our bodies is secondary food, secondary to the primary experiences. So, I like to give people the rule of like, I am choosing to eat whatever food it is because of why. And if that because of why situation is filling you up on a primary food level, like your relationships, birthday party, whatever, then great. That doesn't really matter. Like, but if you're like saying I'm choosing to eat ice cream because I'm stressed out and it's been a long day, that doesn't really hold as much benefit. And honestly, in my opinion, probably has a more profound impact on your blood sugar than if you were eating ice cream out with your grandkids after just having played mini golf or whatever. That's just what comes to mind first because there's a mini golf down the street. But that is different. It's a different experience overall, emotionally, physically, and your body sees it differently because in the stressed out situation, your stress hormones are up, and so your blood sugars are going to be worse anyway, and your body's not going to be able to control it, and you're sitting on the couch versus the other one, you're being active, and your endorphin, your oxytocin, all those good hormones are up, and your body's just going to be able to handle that food better. So maybe that's just my woo-woo science, but that's just my opinion, is that you should be really focusing on the other things that fill you up to the experiences. Like,
What
what's that?
But these sure sound like problems we didn't have 100 years ago because we didn't have all these options of food. We didn't have all of the things that we could fill up on that fills our emotional needs. So if it seems like eating is complicated, it's more complicated than it used to be because we are inundated with an environment of tasty choices. And when we have more choices too, we tend to overeat. There's science behind that. So, would I want to go back to live 200 years ago and have less abundance in our world? Nope. But we got to recalibrate ourselves, and we're here to help you calibrate yourself to your goals.
Yeah, great point. And the other thing is to add, like, so great. This is awesome, Brian and Corey. Like, I know I should be focusing more on. We're going to talk about protein and fiber, right? Those are the two main nutrient things that fill you up and will crowd out and make you eat less of the other uh, food that is really tasty, like fat and carb combinations. Um, I know I can. I know I need to do that, right? That check. I've already got that. How do I actually apply this? How do I set this up? Let's talk about that.
Well, I said an E word just a moment ago, our food environment, and we could talk on a macro level, the environment we live in as humans in our current food environment. But I think there's something to be said about building a food environment at home that'll set you up for success as well.
Mhm. And for sure, like that's if you're primarily eating in your home, which again, so I just talked to someone and they're like, "Well, let's talk about a goal. What's your goal?" My goal is to not eat out three times this week. I said, "Okay, well, that's great that your goal is not to do that, but what is the actual positive goal?" A lot of times people when they're making goals, they're not making the positive statements of what they want to do. They're talking about what they don't want to do, just like they don't want to eat something. Let's so if you don't want to eat out three times a week, what do you want to do? You want to eat dinner at home 5 times this week. Okay, great. How do we do that? We literally got to break it down into the steps. Okay, you've got to have the food at hand. Like that talks about environment. You've got to know what to cook and how to cook. You've got to make it attractive, desirable. The food taste has to taste good. If you're not good at cooking food, then you're more likely to just choose eating out because it's going to taste better. So I like to keep it simple. Like I told this person, I said, hey, if you got arthritis, it hurts to cook food and you're just not that good at it. Get something that's already cooked, pre-cooked a meat, or something that's literally like a frozen patty. Throw it on a skillet. You don't have to do anything but just literally cover it and watch it. Get a bag of frozen vegetables, microwave it, and then pick a sauce that is very low in sugar, like hot sauce, and put it on top. And that's voila, there's your dinner. And they're like, wow, like that's just extremely simple. Yeah, you don't have to be a chef. You don't have to have pampered chef stuff to make nutritious food. You just have to keep it very simple.
Ryan, I thought eating healthy was so complicated though. It's almost insulting how simple it can be. But if it I think that if you're stuck in a pattern of whether it's eating out or eating junk food or having prepackaged processed food that is not conducive to your goals versus we'll say a prepackaged food like Brian suggested, a frozen meat and a frozen veggie that is conducive to your goals, like if you're stuck in that pattern of not doing that, it's going to seem really foreign to you. And then you start doing it and it's so simple that, oh my gosh, this is actually much easier than I imagined. Like our dinner tonight, I have a chicken or a turkey breast from Costco that's pre-cooked. I'm going to chop it up, saute it with some cauliflower rice and scrambled eggs and a little bit of soy sauce. And now we have fried rice, air quote fried rice, cauliflower fried rice. You know, very few ingredients, like some salt, some garlic powder, some ginger, and you're done. And some frozen peas. Like that is as hard as it has to be. And I'm going to have a ton of protein, a ton of fiber to fill me up. I've crowded out the carbs of rice with the well, and it's carb. I mean, vegetables are carbs, but in a very different way
Yeah.
than a refined carbohydrate. And it's going to fill me up more with more nutrition and a lot less caloric energy than if I had done a traditional fried rice or if I had ordered from, say,
Yeah.
Panda Express and had everything doused in vegetable oil and sugar. So, and it will take me about 15 minutes to cook tonight.
And a fraction of the cost, probably. So, yeah, it's really that simple. And the whole key I want people to understand here is you just have to state it positively, crowd out
Mm.
foods, and then break down your goal into simple, actionable steps. Like it's got to be as simple as like I must go online and click and order this. Okay, great. Now I got it. I have to then remember to get it out and cook it. I have to then, once I cook it, I have to then know how to like dress it. And all those are skills or like little skills or habits to break down versus just like, okay, I got to eat at home. What does that even mean? When you say it like that, you don't really understand the lack of people. Most people aren't missing, like, they're just confused. They're lacking clarity in their goals and the specificity of what actually needs to be done. And that's why I don't do it. When there's no clarity, there's confusion. And when there's confusion, there's no action. So
Mm.
pretty, that's pretty much what it comes down to when it comes to eating. I hope this has been a very helpful episode. Do you have anything else to add for people here?
I mean, I think as far as clarity goes, like we could do 100 episodes on macronutrient breakdown and specific foods to eat. But I mentioned that the very simple approach that I give my patients, and it's this, all right, three pillars. Pillar one, start with protein with each meal that you're eating. Protein is the most satiating of our macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats. It's not going to spike your blood sugar like, say, a carbohydrate will. It will take the most thermic energy to burn. So if you have weight to lose, in theory, it's going to help with weight loss. So that is the first piece of the puzzle. The second piece is fiber, which is just good for vegetables and some fruit. And the reason again here is we're trying to get the most nutrition, so protein, vitamins, and minerals for the least amount of energy. Protein and fiber from vegetables is very non-calorically dense. So if you are like, Cory, I'm used to eating a lot and I'm going to be starving myself to get to my goals, you can eat a giant salad as big as your head, and as long as you're not dousing it with a gallon of ranch dressing, like you're gonna be coming out ahead, or like an entire packet of cauliflower rice, like I'll be doing tonight. All right. Third pillar, and so I start with what I want you eating. Third pillar, hardest, is limiting your refined carbs, starches, and abundant added fats. Like when you're having protein, there's natural fats that's going to go along with a lot of those proteins, eggs, meat, chicken, fish, etc. But avoiding added sugars, refined carbohydrates, and then a lot of added fats. That's going to help you get you closer to your goal, and you're not going to be starving the whole time. Now, this order of operations is important for a number of reasons. One, it's going to help you reach your goals. If you have diabetes and say you're taking one of the GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, you probably have a smaller appetite. It's really crucial that you get all of the nutrition if you're not eating as much. So this is a sort of like secret message there for those of you who might be on those or considering those medicines is that if you can't eat as much, it's crucial that you get all of the nutrition you can. And if you're not as hungry, you need to eat the nutritious stuff first. So like it is as simple as Brian said, a frozen patty, hamburger, chicken, turkey, some frozen veggies, some hot sauce, you're good to go. What are you doing? You're hitting my three pillars: protein, fiber, limit the refined carbs, starches, and added fats. Boom. That's it. That's it. Now, as Brian said, you've got to get specific. You've got to build an environment and a plan for that because if you are stressed and it is late and you have a bag of baby carrots and a bag of chocolate, you will reach for the yummy stuff. So, trying to crowd out some of those things on your plate and then in your kitchen is going to help you get to that goal.
Yeah. Put it out of sight. Make the carrots easier to eat. So
Yeah.
that's and then call yourself out. That's the other little like thing I like to get people. Hey, I'm about to eat this yummy bag of whatever you said, M&Ms or chocolate.
Hey, man, I don't want to get sued. I didn't say specific company. I don't want Mars coming after us, Brian.
All right, we'll cut that out. Maybe not. Uh, I'm, you just gotta call yourself out. Like literally say it out loud. I am grabbing this because a lot of times when we do this, it's unconscious. We're not even recognizing. We're just, a lot of our behaviors are on autopilot. And so you have to then, Corey talks about avoidance. I just like to bring people awareness. Oh, wow,
Mm,
this has this much sugar in it. Oh, wow, this
yeah.
has this much oil or what kind of oil in it. And so then you just make that decision. Hey, this, really increases the energy content of my food. It really increases, the negative effect of my blood sugar. I'm just not going to eat that. That's not really along with my goals. Um, so awareness, but then same thing we need with our habits. We need to call ourselves out like, hey, I'm reaching for more chocolate here and I'm doing it because why am I doing it? I'm stressed out. I just had for me personally, a really tough time getting my kids to bed, and I just want some peace and quiet, and a piece of chocolate or ice cream sounds fantastic to go along with that. So, not speaking from personal experience here at all. Yes, I am. Uh, so I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect with food. Don't ever beat yourself up. Give yourself grace,
Mhm.
be kind to yourself, get curious instead of get critical. Those all those pieces really matter when it comes to food because if you have one little quote unquote slip up, and I hate that term because it really puts a negative connotation on yourself and you say you cheat, but what are you really saying when you cheat is you're actually saying you cheated yourself and you're calling yourself you're putting a negative thing on yourself. And that just really, what that actually wants you to do is it encourages your body to seek more dopamine. And where is it going to get that dopamine in this food environment, Corey?
Probably for more food.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably for more food. So,
I like to call it a vacation. You're taking a vacation from your normal pattern of eating.
yeah. But
So,
either way,
yeah.
you're going to seek comfort from beating
Mhm.
yourself up, and you're going to get that comfort from more food. So don't even cheat, don't even slip up. It's all a choice. Have
Mhm.
compassion for yourself. Get curious. Why did I do this? What can I learn from it? How can I change my environment up for success the next time I face this situation? And I promise you, little by little, you will get better and you will come closer to reaching your goals, which is naturally controlling your blood sugar, no medication, feeling better, feeling energized, feeling vibrant, feeling in control of your life again. So, this has been my favorite episode so far, I think, just because
Yeah, this
I'm
was
so
really
passionate
right
about it.
up your alley. Yeah, I can tell. Usually I'm the
Yeah.
one yelling, and here you are. There's spittle on your lip and everything, Brian. Can I interject a little personal story to drive home your point?
Sure. Yeah. Please.
So this is actually about myself. So Brian and I know each other well. We kind of talk about our own health journeys. And for the last, this is May 16th. And one of my issues that I have, and maybe you can relate, is snacking while you cook or snacking after dinner. I've literally been doing this after dinner snack since can remember as a young child. And then as I've grown up and cooked, like that's what I've done. And I've just grown tired of that habit. Like my health markers are still good. It's just a matter of like, I want to overcome this little challenge and to show you all out there or hear so you can all hear that we are all challenging ourselves. And so I made a very specific goal of not snacking while I cook or snacking after dinner.
Hold on.
And
I'm gonna
I've,
interrupt you there. That is a negative goal. So,
yeah, I know. Well, so we all work differently, Brian. But I was getting to the point that on
okay,
Mother's Day, I had gone like 14 days straight with not doing this action. And so here's the thing. We give this general advice, and I would agree with Brian's like positive goals. And that's what I tell my clients and patients how to work. For me, there is a behavior that I need to not be doing. And it's one that's decades old. But what I was trying to get to, Brian, before you
sorry.
interjected, I'm not trying to crap over your whole point here, was that I have someone helping keeping me accountable. So I have a buddy in a group that I'm in that we check in with each other. He's keeping me accountable, and I have felt better. I have felt that improvement in my sleep when my kids aren't getting me up, that is, and just enjoying dinner more because I'm actually eating while hungry versus having two dinners essentially, or really three because I eat my kids' food. But on Mother's Day, I knew that we would have like my sister-in-law makes a really great homemade carrot cake. I typically like I was just like I made a conscious choice to say today I'm going to have something after dinner, and I will probably be doing something before dinner because my in-laws' house is just filled with all kinds of like yummy snacks. And I did both of those things, and I did not beat myself up. On Monday, I got back to it. It is now Friday. I've got back to it. So just to give myself a little credit, and Brian has heard my woes throughout our friendship years of like, I've not beat myself up. I'm back on the train. I did not. It was a day of celebration and joy for the mothers and the family, and that was it. So just going. Although I didn't have the positive goal necessarily, I haven't created any behaviors to crowd out the other ones. I just
Yeah.
I don't I wouldn't even call it white knuckling. It's just been easy. But the call out as I would go to do something like that, I would just be like, I'm doing this because it's habit, or I'm doing this because this sounds yummy, not because it's the closest to help me get me closer to my goals. So
Yeah.
maybe I should not have added that, Brian, because I feel you although the gestalt of the positive goal was not there, that I wanted to humanize myself with our audience here.
I think it's great. No, I really like the story, and I'm sorry for interjecting. I should have let you finish.
And then said you were angry with how I framed it.
No, not I'm not angry. I'm just talking about how I guess I'm just showing how common it is for people to just have these negative goals, and it doesn't.
Mhm.
But in your case, it's really simple. You just got to state it positively. I am choosing to abstain from food anything after dinner. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the same thing. You're not snacking, but you're abstaining from further food, or I'm sticking to dinner only. That is my
yeah,
goal. And so
yeah.
that's the only way
I should have
that's it.
said that to begin with, but that's why you're the certified health coach and I'm the certified comedian here. So, all
That's a
right,
good point.
I'll let you take this one home, Ryan, before I put my foot in
No,
my mouth.
I got nothing else to add. I think it's a great story. Um, Other than maybe I like to tell people too that when they get off track, they feel like there's like that there I just tell them there is no track. There
Right.
literally is no track to get on, to fall off. There's just one wide, vast ocean, which we are all trying to get to the sunset that we will never get to,
Mm.
but we just constantly are just striving to get there. There's gonna be storms, there's gonna be waves. We might tip over every once in a while, but we're gonna get that boat back up and we're just gonna keep going. And we're never gonna get there. And the other point to drive home, which I think is really important too, is you noticed you started to tie your action to benefits. You were feeling better,
Yes,
more
that I think that's a
energized.
big one. Hmm.
And that's really, really important here. Once you start doing an action, you have to then either talk about it with someone. We like to say, talk about it with us, coaches. We will then try to point those out, draw those out of you so you can start to then tie those actions to benefits, tangible benefits. And that only
Hmm.
reinforces more and more of the same habit. And so that's a really key step in this whole process as well. Journal it out, talk to someone, have an accountability partner. You know, send it to us, whatever. We would love to get those messages. So
Hmm.
that's my take home point. Otherwise, this has been honestly, yeah, like I said, my this has been probably right up my alley for this episode. So hopefully get more energized and the same kind of passion in future episodes.
Yeah, you got it, Brian. It's all good. We're as you say, there is no destination. There
Yeah.
is no final sunset to get to. We're all on this floating ocean of currents together. And as you listen to us, we're learning the world of podcasting. We're experts in diabetes treatment, reversal, remission, all of the above there.
Yeah.
So we're good at that. We're just not as comfortable. Well, he's not as comfortable talking in front of a microphone, but he's way better than when I first met him. It's actually it's almost embarrassing how bad he was before.
It
So we're
is.
we're
It
all
is
we're
really
all we're all
embarrassing.
getting there. And the important thing is to enjoy the journey as much as you can along the way. Because if you're white knuckling life, you're not going to get to your goals. So,
Yeah.
Brian, thank you
Yeah.
for this episode. Thanks for sharing your passion. And if you're listening and you're like, man, I want to share I want some of these guys' passion. Always remember that if you need some help with your blood sugar, we're here for you. If you have a question for us, let us know. We love doing those specific question podcasts as well. But yeah, we can't stop talking about this until nobody has type 2 diabetes, straight
For
up.
sure.
So we want to retire someday. So let's get working on this.
One more thing to add, the masterclass, the diabetes freedom masterclass is about to drop. So I'm going to put that link in the show notes because
Ooh, ooh.
I'm thinking it's going to be live and I'm going to throw that down there. So it's going to be a great resource. So check it out. Be
Yep.
in the show
All
notes.
right. All right. Till next time, everybody. Till next time, Ryan. Thank you.
See ya. Bye. Thanks for listening. Now go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode, and you can join us on the journey and roadmap to remission.